I've said to people it's been the worst career experience in my life and the very best career experience in my life. To be able to work with the board of directors in the community with a passion of mine, which is services to kids with disabilities and their families. In the very beginning, it really was a day-to-day. I think what helped us is we were all just so focused on saving rainbows. And Steve Cox, who was our board chair at the time, is the most optimistic person I know, and we were never going to fail with him leading us. And so we really just had a mission. Steve told our staff to keep carrying on and providing the services, and the board and the rest of us would figure this out. And with everybody coming on board, we just had one path to go, and we knew what we had to do. We had to cut, and we had to sell buildings, but we did it in such a way that we really protected most of the services.
Originally, I was asked to serve on the board of directors by a good friend of mine, and it was a time in my life where I felt like I needed to get more involvement in the community, and so I started serving on the board, and then my first grandchild was born, and she was special needs, and so I had been able to experience rainbows from the board side, from the business perspective. But then I also got to experience from the personal perspective of the services that they performed and what they were able to do for my granddaughter. During that time, I just became more and more involved. The end of that 4-year period was about the time that all of the financial stuff hit rainbows. And so I guess at that point, I was involved on both levels, and just felt like the organization was much too important to the community to let it fail. We have been very fortunate that we have been in the public's eye for a few years, even if some of that time was not necessarily positive. But the community has really responded to rainbows and has stepped up to help. And we've had help from a lot of companies that you know, there was no one that was against us.
We kind of got to look at who we are and who we wanted to be. We looked at our mission again. We developed 10 guiding principles that we value and lead us in our decision making. The first one of those is making children and families our highest priority, being resourceful, being responsible and accountable. And we use that in our daily decision making as well as a whole. We have a board who's actively involved. We set up different board committees. We brought in other experts into those committees. We've made a commitment to our staff that through the good and the bad of it all, we would let them know what was going on and what was happening. And so it's that transparent culture. And the other part of it is we are a business first with a mission, and we won't be able to deliver that mission unless we operate effectively as a business.
One of the things that we did as we reorganized Rainbows is that we sought out talent that could help us even without them being on our board, that they could serve on some of our committees to help us get more expertise but not require the commitment of a board position. And so I was able to use some of my people to do that, as did a lot of other companies. Wayne Chambers with High Touch, we've made extensive use of some of his people. And just several companies have allowed us to tap into their expertise to help our committees be more functional.
I think we helped a lot of board of directors in our community and looking at their practices, and not that they were doing anything bad, but I think it did cause everybody to pause and look at the information they're getting and the participation and relationship that they have with staff of a not-for-profit. The not-for-profits, many of them called immediately in support. And then when we announced our refinancing news a couple of weeks ago, we got phone calls and support again from the not-for-profits saying, yay, we're so happy for you. But I think the lessons we learned are very valuable lessons, and that's another thing for the organization. My personal goal is I don't want to lose those lessons and those practices we've implemented. I think you can become complacent when things are going better, and I don't ever want to be in that role or that place again.
And we have gone to some of our large supporters, and we've told them that we would love for them to have a position on the board. And so they have gone out among their employees, and they have tried to find employees that truly fit our board and had a passion. And we've had some very large supporters that said, you know, we don't have somebody right now that we think will do your board justice. And so it's a commitment from those organizations to really be involved at a level to help the board, not just to monitor the board.
There's still plenty of work to be done. However, the transition from looking back at bankruptcy to looking forward has already begun.
We need to take care of our staff, honestly, first of all. They've gone without a lot and without many increases at all, so we need to take care of them so that the programs that we have continue to be quality programs. Child care for kids with disabilities was one. You know, we sold 2 of our buildings and repurposed a 3rd building from early child care. And we feel like there's a need of that in the community for families who have children with multiple needs or disabilities. And just being able to kind of not, the answer to everything used to be no, and now to be able to say, what would help? What is the next thing that we need to be looking at? It's very refreshing.
With the restructuring of the debt, we've been able to convert everything into a mortgage that is supported by the assets, and we've been able to decrease our monthly debt commitment to a level that is much more sustainable. We have revamped our fundraising campaign to a membership type campaign that has the same theme year after year after year, so we're not reinventing the wheel every year. And we have got an extremely bright future. We are able to look where for a while, as Deb mentioned earlier, for a while we were looking to what we were going to do to be open tomorrow. And then gradually we were able to look at what we were going to be open in 6 months. And now we're looking at long-term things. We're looking at revamping the infrastructure of the organization through technology and improving the technology within. We're able to say, what if, and start talking about those things. So it's a tremendously bright future.
It was the perfect storm, and now we've got the rainbow.